Yo, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be going over some of my favorite picks for the Friday night NBA slate for October 25th. We're going to take a look at Draftkings and Yahoo, talk about some of my favorite plays on both sides. Just before we do get into the video, guys, I would definitely appreciate it if you would drop a like down below. As always, feel free to leave any comments. If you have any comments or any feedback you want to leave down in the comment section, you can do that. If you have any questions, you can always comment that down below as well. Always appreciate your guys' comments and feedback. And if you are someone that's new to the channel and you have not subscribed yet, make sure you click that subscribe button down below. Also, be sure to click the notification bell so that way you get notified every time I upload. You'll never miss out on a new video. Got a ton of content coming out for you guys, NFL and NBA, so you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so that way you never miss out on any of my new videos. But let's go and take a look at tonight's slate, talk about some of my favorite plays. So at the top, I'm going to be going back to a guy that I played quite a bit of on Wednesday. That's Karl Anthony Towns. I love Karl Anthony Towns again on both sides. On DraftKings, he did see a price bump. He was $10,100 on the Wednesday night slate. He's now $10,800 on Friday night. And then on Yahoo, I think Towns was $47. He's $48 today. I like him on both sides. He did what we thought he did, or we thought he would do in his debut on Wednesday against Brooklyn. He was very dominant. Had like 70 or 75 DraftKings points, went for 36 points, 14 rebounds. I know he chipped in with some steals and blocks. I think he had a couple assists as well. Just all-around crazy performance from Karl Anthony Towns. He's going to be a monster all season. He's going to be one of the most expensive players on DraftKings pretty much on a nightly basis when he's on the slate. He's going to be a guy that probably averages 55, 60 DraftKings points once we get to the end of the season. We know Towns is going to play heavy minutes every night. With Jimmy Butler no longer on this team, it's Karl Anthony Towns' team. The ball's going to go through him. He's going to have a ton of usage. He's going to take a ton of shots. He's going to be a great rebounder. We know that. He can block shots as well. Cat can really just do it all. And it's a great matchup against the Hornets. I don't expect the Hornets defensively to be good this year at all. They're probably going to be one of the worst teams in the league. And Cody Zeller, if he does play today, he's questionable. He has no chance of slowing down Cat. If Cody Zeller's out and it's like Willie Hernan-Gomez or Bismack Biyombo, they really have no chance either against Karl Anthony Towns. He should be able to dominate whoever's out there guarding him. So I love this spot for Cat. For what it's worth, he did go for 65 DraftKings points, an average of 65 DraftKings points through 2 games against the Hornets last year. And the Hornets defensively versus centers were like the same team. They have the same front court as they did last year. They have Cody Zeller at center they had Zeller at center last year. He's their center this year. So it's the same matchup for Cat that it was last year, and he had a lot of success last season. I expect the same amount of success this season and in this matchup as well. And this does look like a slate where there's going to be a lot of value and a lot of underpriced players. We've already had some news break, some suspensions break. There's been guys that are going to be out as well that's opening up value. So there's going to be plenty of cheap guys available on this slate to where you can pay up for at least probably 1 or 2 studs. And Karl Anthony Towns is definitely one of the studs that I want to get in my lineup on both sides. But now next we're going to take a look at Aron Baynes, $3,200 on DraftKings, minimum salary on Yahoo. He's almost minimum salary on DraftKings, just $200 off the minimum. So he's one of the first value plays that I wanted to hit on. I am assuming that he starts in this matchup versus the Nuggets and versus Nikola Jokic. DeAndre Ayton has been suspended for 25 games, so the Suns at center are going to be down to Aron Baynes, Frank Kaminsky, and Cheick Diallo. It's going to be one of those 3 guys that starts at center. I have a pretty good feeling it's going to be Baynes because I feel like he matches up best versus Nikola Jokic. I just don't see them putting Frank Kaminsky on Nikola Jokic. I just don't think that's going to work. So I assume Baynes starts. If he does start, I love him here as a value because he's so cheap on both sides. He's always been a pretty good point per minute player. As long as he gets minutes in like the mid-20s, he should have no problem returning value on both of these price tags. He's probably one of the best overall values on the slate, especially for cash. He should be one of the first guys you plug into your cash lineup. For tournaments, I would want to have exposure to him. I imagine he's going to be highly owned, especially if he does get announced as the starter throughout the day on Friday. If we don't get a Suns lineup before lock, you definitely want to make sure that you have Baynes in your utility spot so that way you can pivot off of him if he's not the starter. I believe him and Kaminsky are the exact same price. So if you put Baynes in your utility and he's not the starter, then you can just swap to Frank the Tank. Whichever guy starts is who I like. I'm assuming it's Baynes. That's why I put him in here. I think he does have the best shot of slowing down Jokic, so that's why I feel like he's going to be the starter. He's probably going to be looking at like mid-20s in minutes and no problem returning value on these salaries. $3,200 minimum salary on Yahoo, easily should be able to pay off those price tags. But now we're going to take a look at Nemanja Bjelica. I do like Nemanja Bjelica on this slate as well as another cheap value play. He's really cheap on DraftKings, just $3,600. Yahoo actually bumped him up in price a little bit. He's up to $15 on Yahoo, but I still think he's pretty appealing over there as well. So he's another player that should benefit from a starter being out. Right now, it looks like Marvin Bagley is going to be out for about 4 to 6 weeks. And Nemanja Bjelica, not confirmed yet, but he is expected to be the starter and start in place of Bagley. Like I said, that's not confirmed, so make sure you're keeping up with news on Friday. Make sure we get the news that Bjelica is the starter. If he doesn't start, then I probably am going to get off of him and just play whoever does start. But I'm assuming Bjelica is the starter, and if that's the case, I'm going to have a lot of exposure to him. He's probably going to be another guy that I play in cash games because he's so cheap. He's going to allow you to fit in the studs that you want. Like if you go with Bjelica and Baynes, that's going to allow you to get in at least like 2 of the 9K, 10K players. Maybe even 3 because there might be even more value open up as the day goes on. Like I said at the beginning, Yahoo actually did bump him up in price a little bit, up to $15, but he just feels like such a good play, under 4K on DraftKings. If he gets you like 25 DraftKings points, that's really good value at that price tag. And if he does play mid-20s in minutes, he should have no problem getting close to 25 DraftKings points. So really like Bjelica here as a value if he does start in place of Marvin Bagley. Next guy I like though is Kelly Oubre, guy that I was on a ton Wednesday. 5,600 on Wednesday's slate, went for 40 fantasy points. DraftKings decided to bump him up to 5,700 after going for 40 fantasy points on Wednesday. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. He is still a great play on DraftKings. Yahoo, he's pretty expensive at $30, but he is at small forward on Yahoo. And that position, just looking through it before I started recording, looks pretty gross. There's not a lot of small forward plays that really stand out on Yahoo. So I think if you want to pay up for Oubre, you definitely can, but I do have a lot more interest in him on DraftKings at just $5,700. He's going to be a 7K player on most nights. I'm not sure why he's still this cheap on DraftKings. He's going to be a guy that probably averages 30, 35 DraftKings points per game. So the fact that we're still getting him at $5,700 just feels like a lock to get at least probably close to 6x value. And obviously, if Oubre's hitting his shots, he could totally go for like 45, 50 DraftKings points. Oubre has that kind of upside. He's a guy that can knock down shots. He can rebound as well. We nearly saw him get a double-double on Wednesday. He was just 1 rebound shy, so that would have helped him even more. He would have had even better game. Oubre is just an all-around really talented player, playing for a Suns team that is going to push the ball and play really fast. This game in general should be played really fast between the Suns and the Nuggets. The Nuggets do have a very good defense. It is a bad defensive matchup for Oubre, but with how fast this game should be played, there should be plenty of shot attempts. Oubre is probably going to take 15 to 20 shots. Should be plenty of opportunity for rebounds as well. Could easily see him going for 20 and 10 again and easily paying off this price. So love Kelly Oubre. Going to be going back to him at just $5,700 on DraftKings. Way too cheap in my opinion. The next guy, Fred VanVleet, I really like. Point guard and shooting guard on DraftKings. $5,700, which is more of a reasonable price, where he's only $18 on Yahoo. That's where I have a lot of interest in him. The Yahoo price is a lot more appealing. I still think he's playable on DraftKings, but I feel like I'm going to be mostly using him on Yahoo. So he was $15 on the opening night slate, and then VanVleet went for 54 fantasy points on opening night. Yahoo decided to bump him up only $3 after going for 54 fantasy points, which just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think he's still way too cheap over there. I did talk about it in the opening night video, but a lot of these Raptors starters, VanVleet included, VanVleet, Lowry, Siakam, these guys are going to be poised to have great seasons because without Kawhi Leonard on the team, all of them see bumps in usage, all of them see bumps in their points per minute, just like their points per minute averages. They all play much better, at least for fantasy, when a high usage player like Kawhi is no longer on the team. So I expect VanVleet to probably be like a 6K, 6,500 player on most nights. Same with like Siakam, he's going to be like probably an 8K, 8,500 player on most nights. Lowry's going to be like a $7,500 player most nights. Some of these Raptors guys are still a little bit too cheap in my opinion. I think VanVleet is one of them. Don't expect him to put up 54 fantasy points again, but I think he can easily get you in the mid-30s, and that does return pretty good value on both of these prices. So really like Fred VanVleet again. I think he's a really good option on both sites. More on Yahoo than DraftKings, but I still am going to have some interest in him on DK at $5,700. But now Hassan Whiteside, $7,200 on DraftKings, $22 on Yahoo. This is another dumb Yahoo price. There's a lot of underpriced players on Yahoo for this Friday night slate. Whiteside is definitely one of them. He was way too cheap on Yahoo on the last slate. He was $18. He went for 40 fantasy points. After going for 40 fantasy points, they decided to bump him up to $22, which is just dumb. Still way too cheap on Yahoo. He should be like 35, probably $36, $37 over there. I don't know why he's still this cheap at $22. It's a great matchup against a fast-paced Kings team, a Kings team that's going to be pretty bad defensively this year. They just allowed the Suns to score like 120 points on them. This is going to be definitely a Kings team we target. They're going to be bad versus centers. Dwayne Bacon just not that good of a defender. He's not going to be able to slow down Hassan Whiteside. So it's a great spot for Whiteside. And something we love to see was that he played 26 minutes in his first game with the Blazers. And he did say that he wanted to play more. Terry Stotts gave Whiteside a lot of praise. He said he liked what he saw. So I imagine as the season goes on, we're going to see Whiteside playing probably 30 minutes on most nights. Even if he doesn't get to 30, even if he only plays like 26, 27, Whiteside's still just such a good point per minute player that he can get you 40 DraftKings points in only 26, 27 minutes. Doesn't need to play like 35, 40 minutes to pay off this price tag. He can get it done even in mid-20s minutes because of how good a producer he is. So love Hassan Whiteside again. More on Yahoo than DraftKings, but still on DraftKings I'm going to have some appeal at 7,200. We're going to take a look at Dwayne Bacon. Dwayne Bacon I do like quite a bit on DraftKings and Yahoo. Shooting guard, small forward on DK, 5,700. Really dumb on Yahoo's minimum salary. I think he's one of the easiest values on Yahoo at minimum salary. So he went for 36 fantasy points. He played 33 minutes in the season opener on Wednesday. And for some reason, he is still minimum salary on Yahoo. I think he's a stone lock over there at shooting guard. He's one of the best value plays over there. On DraftKings, they were smart and bumped him up to 5,700. So I don't think he's nearly as much of a priority on DraftKings as he is on Yahoo. But with the Hornets very thin on talent this season, no Kemba Walker, no Jeremy Lamb. They just don't have the same like elite players that they had last season. They got a lot of rookies. They got a lot of young players. A guy like Dwayne Bacon I think is going to be poised for a breakout season with the Hornets. He should be looking at heavy minutes every night. Going to have more usage with Kemba no longer on the team. Going to be able to take more shots. He's a pretty good rebounder. He can kind of contribute in all categories. He's a Florida State guy. I did watch him a little bit when he played at Florida State. I am an FSU fan, so I know how good he was when he was at FSU. I do expect him to be a pretty good NBA player. I think he's going to have a great season with the Hornets, especially because they're just not going to be that good of a team. Bacon's going to be a guy that's going to be out there probably 34, 35 minutes every night. It is a really good matchup against the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves are a team that wants to play fast this year, wants to push the pace, so it's a pace-up spot for the Hornets. This game, in general, I think has one of the higher totals on the slate. It's definitely going to be a good game to target. And Dwayne Bacon, specifically on Yahoo at minimum salary, but even on DraftKings, I think is a really good play on this slate. But now Taurean Prince, small forward, power forward, a guy I liked a lot on Wednesday. Going to be going back to him on this Friday night slate. 5,600 on DraftKings, $15 on Yahoo. So this is one of the other dumb Yahoo prices on this slate. So Prince was $13 on the Yahoo slate on Wednesday. He went for 40 fantasy points. They decided to bump him up $2 after going for 40 fantasy points, which really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That game against Brooklyn and Minnesota on Wednesday, it did go to overtime, but at the end of the regulation, Prince had already put up a very solid game, and he had played 36 minutes at the end of regulation. So even if that game doesn't go to overtime, you're still getting heavy minutes from Prince, and you're still getting a good outing from him. He's definitely going to benefit from Kevin Durant, not healthy right now. Kevin Durant's out, so Prince is most likely going to be the starter rest of season until Kevin Durant comes back, and he should be looking at heavy minutes pretty much every night. So really like Taurean Prince here. More on Yahoo than DraftKings, but again, I think he's still playable on DK, even at 5,600. You really need probably like mid-30s in fantasy points for him to pay off that price tag, and I think he could definitely do that here. On Yahoo, though, at $15, even if he gets you like 25 points, that's pretty good value at that salary. So I think he's a very strong play on Yahoo more than DraftKings. Now, the final pick for today's video is Will Barton, shooting guard, small forward, 5,200 on DK, $13 on Yahoo. This is our final just mispriced guy. So many mispriced guys today on Yahoo, but this is our final one for this video. So Barton played 31 minutes, went for 36 fantasy points in their last game. Now he gets a matchup against the Suns, and Yahoo decided to bump him up just $2 after going for 36 fantasy points. Don't really get it, especially because this is such a good matchup against the Suns. Fast-paced game. Suns are a bad defensive team. This game just has a lot of appeal in general. If it can stay competitive, I expect there to be a lot of good plays in this game. And Will Barton, I think on both sides, is really underpriced. If he's gonna continue to play like 30 minutes every night, he did start on Wednesday, which we like to see. I do prefer Barton to start because I feel like his minutes are a lot more secure when he's in the starting lineup. Maybe doesn't see as much usage, but his minutes I think are a lot more secure when he's starting. He played 30 minutes on Wednesday. If he's going to be a 30-minute per night player, he's probably going to put up 25, 30 DraftKings points on most nights, especially in a matchup against the Suns. You would expect probably a 30, 35-point performance from Barton here. So I really like him on both sides. I think he's underpriced. I think he is a pretty good value if you're looking for a cheap play at shooting guard or small forward. But that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. You'll notice on the screen I do have one of my more recent videos popping up on the screen if you want to check that video out. You can also hover over my face to subscribe to the channel. Just click on my face and you can subscribe. Feel free to leave any comments, any questions, any feedback down below in the comment section. Like always, I do appreciate that. That's pretty much it, guys. Good luck tonight. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.